Welcome back. Now, April comes with a rise in fuel and electricity costs, but there's some relief and some good news for women. Sanitary towel products are now, of course, VAT-free. That 15% tax scrap announced in the budget speech came into effect on Monday. Perhaps now it might be a good time to look into introducing period pain leave as well. Equal Education adopted the policy last year, allowing its employees to take time off during their menstrual cycle. Chief Operations Officer Ansadi Mofokeng joins us now in studio to tell us more and to also help us look at the legalities is Labour lawyer Sharisa Raja. Ladies, very good morning. Good to have you with us. And Sadi, can I start with you? Why did you feel the need to introduce this in the first place?
It came up as an idea from a staff member who asked, in the normal staff meeting, have we thought about introducing this in late 2017? And we had a survey of us women staff members asking them about how had their experience been of struggling with their periods, what was their general way of managing that. And, people had different experiences of the frustrations, and so we responded to that by trying a one-year trial of this policy. And there's been great uptake. People have found the relief of knowing its existence, not like some people have taken it and had taken advantage of having the days available, and other people have just had comfort knowing the days are there should I need them. Now, let's talk about the male component in your workplace, in your workspace. How did they take this? They were generally open to it. It was in the process of us in general reviewing policies that were available to staff to ensure that they were more comfortable in the workplace. So we were looking at other things like parental leave and other things. So in that sense, we were talking about progressive policies that made everybody feel valid and seen in the workplace. And so there hasn't been pushback so much as just maybe a little bit of envy, hoping that they had the same days available. But obviously they don't have the same challenges. Yeah, that's exactly this. I was about to ask a question which makes me look very chauvinistic, but how do you, because obviously women have different types of period pains. How do you tell how can you rate something like that? And how would you know if somebody's telling the truth? It's a trust thing, and it's allowing people, you're recognizing that people face a challenge, and you're now giving them the opportunity to take these days off based on their being able to self-report that, I'm actually not going to be my best today. Yeah. And you've seen it before we had this policy. Sometimes women would struggle to approach a male manager to say, actually, the reason why I'm not at my best right now is that I'm on my period. But suddenly you take out the taboo in menstruation for somebody to be able to say that this is actually affecting my ability to be present and fully, operative. Now, Sharisa, as a labor lawyer, legally, can they do what they're doing?
Well, the starting point is yes, because the Basic Conditions of Employment Act confers minimum conditions, and employers and employees are more than contractually free to agree more favorable conditions. But the difficulty comes in around the granting of benefits. When we grant benefits, we must be fair and objective, right? Now, period pain leave or period pains are a real thing in our society, and many people suffer with them, women suffer with them. But people also suffer with migraines, debilitating arthritis, on all kinds of trial medication right now, and are still existing in the workplace. And the difficulty comes in when you're trying to balance all these eventualities. And if we start creating specific categories of leave for one, then why not for the other? And then you start to open up a Pandora's box where employees feel that one is being preferred or one group is being preferred, be it on the basis of gender, sex, sexual orientation, whatever, over the other. And then you start creating difficulties in the workplace once you look ahead 10, 20 years from now.
Do you see difficulties, though?
As a labor lawyer, you see it every day. Here's a practical example, something more conventional. If you look at a disciplinary code, there is no one offense that fits every single instance of misconduct. That's why we look to categories. So we say, gross misconduct is negligence, and we won't say negligence means the following, and we don't try and box things up, because people are very innovative when they want to do stuff like that. Yeah. So too it is with trying to cater for all employees' needs. That's why we have sick leave. Yeah. What I would propose as a more encompassing, accommodating solution is a more favorable sick leave policy that can be invoked without a medical certificate requirement. Yeah. nuancing that is also the concept of flexible working. If a woman feels uncomfortable coming into work, can't we give flexibility to working hours so that person can stay home
But
that day?
we're opening a can of worms here. To go back to what you were saying, if I've got a heavy migraine, I can just say, listen, I'm also in pain. So it's equal to my female partner or our co-worker.
I mean, the thing about that is I think in the workplace we're generally challenged to actually to look at our staff members more holistically. We do need to think about like mental health, broad senses of like people who are in chronic pain, and you're not necessarily sick in the short instance, And so we are challenged to think about what are the broad categories of accommodations that we need to make, and we need to find the language for doing that and the policy space to do that.
Okay,
lastly, Sharisa.
Yes.
Do you see this now, will this become the norm? What do you think as a labour lawyer?
I think right now labour law is becoming very innovative. We've got childcare leaves that are very generous right now. We are catching up with all kinds of first world generation and new generation benefits. So I think that where we would go with this sort of thing is maybe a more generous sick leave policy where we don't need to put forward a medical certificate, and like you say, it would work on trust.
Yeah, that's the thing, trust. Ladies, thank you so much for coming through. We'll see if this actually gains momentum.
Thank you.
That's our guest. There was Equal Education's Chief Operations Officer Nsadi Mufokeng and labour lawyer Sharisa Raja.